Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's action at the Online Darts Live League. It is Friday night, and it is the last chance for anybody to make it to the finals on Saturday night. We have 3 players already there. We will talk about their route to coming into the Saturday night finals in due course. But a little bit early on today, we did have the conclusion to Group C. Tonight is all about Group B, where 3 players will have the opportunity of booking their place. But the first person to make it through was through Group A on Tuesday and Wednesday, and that person was Martin Adams. Not to a great deal of surprise for a lot of people, but the fact of the matter is that Robert Owen was in position to book his spot in the finals, but unfortunately, due to a defeat to bottom-placed Diogo Portela, who only played one day in Group A after the withdrawal of Jason Hogg, he found a really good performance to deny Robert Owen a chance. So, Robert Owen found his way to Group B, along with Gary Robson. They will play it a little bit further on tonight. We'll talk about that in a little while. But before we get there, over the last couple of days in the morning session, we have had Group C, which was equally exciting. 14 points for 3 players, and as you can see, 2 legs separated Daryl Pilgrim at the top and Stephen Burton in third, but only 2 players could go through, and because Mike Warburton won 1 leg in his shootout with Stephen Burton in the 15th match of the session earlier today, he has found his way through by the skin of his teeth. So it's going to be Wales represented by Mike, England by Daryl Pilgrim of Croydon. Really exciting Group C, and when we look at tonight's action, it could be as exciting as that, because 3 players will come through this. We're going to start with Robert Owen, and he's going to be in 3rd position in the table, up against Paul Hogan in our first match. But Hogan had a really good time of it last night, getting 8 points from a possible 8. Scott Williams had a bad start yesterday, but managed to get himself off the floor and did finish in 2nd position. He's up against Shaun Griffiths in his first match, and then Gary Robson, the only other player who doesn't play in the first couple of games, will be up against Hogan, 2 players who have made quarterfinals at the Lakeside back in the past. So, what's going to happen tonight? Let's see what's coming up in the very first game this evening on Friday night. Here we go then, our first 2 combatants, and Robert Owen has chosen to wear his blue shirt tonight. And I had a bit of a chat with him earlier on today, and he said he's got 5 different coloured shirts. So this is the blue one. He's got 1 left in white and grey, and he'll be hoping he's wearing it tomorrow. But as for Darts shirtery, look at that from Paul Hogan. That is quite the dart shirt, isn't it? There's so much going on. The crocodile's got a dart in its mouth. Looks like it's come through his nostril. That is a work of art, isn't it?
Game on.
What's he going to do as he paints his masterpiece in the table? He starts on 8 points. A running average of 84.82 yesterday, with a best average of 93.3. But only the 1 maximum yesterday for Hoagie. Couple of ton plus outs, including a 160
45.
checkout, which was found in the last game of yesterday's session. And that was against Robert Owen. And that game was won by Hogan by 4 legs to 3.
60.
As per yesterday, he's using the trimmed down flights.
70.
Now, I do believe that these are flights that have been cut, but I may be wrong. These might just be newly made flights, which are smaller than his previous ones.
100.
Checkout percentage yesterday for Paul, 38.1, which is pretty good.
44.
Best leg of the night, 14 darts. Same as Gary Robson, but everybody else in the group had a better leg than that. And I think it's fair to say that when Paul went to bed last night at around 2 a.m, or possibly a little bit later than that, I think he counted himself quite fortunate to have picked up 8 points. Because he has played so much better than he did yesterday here, but still managed to bag the maximum amount.
60.
Owen starts the stronger. Paul still trying to find his range on that treble 20 and finds it.
140.
That's much better.
Robert, you require 100.
First 140 of the contest for Paul. It's going to be the layup for tops.
60.
3 tightly compacted darts to leave that tops. Somewhat slow start here.
90.
But Robert does have the darts 40 in this match. That's why I've got him as a slight favourite in this match, but only just. Double 5.
Game shot.
It's a really good hit, that. Because if he starts missing doubles at the start of this match, Hogan is going to get himself in there. Just look where this one lands in double 5. Right in the corner.
Second leg, it's Paul to throw first.
There is a danger, of course, when you win 8 points on Thursday night, that you think
60.
You might already be there. You might have already done enough to get into Saturday night. So, I think, off the top of my head, and my experience of sitting in this
100.
chair, that Hogan needs one more win from 3, just to be certain. But Owen needs a little bit more.
43.
He's got half the points that Paul has, and he's got a lot more work to do. He may think that he's got to get 3 wins from 4 to book his spot in the top 3.
81.
I would agree with that statement. This is much better scoring. And it's the first 180 of the night.
80.
Biggest 180 hitter last night was Robert Owen with 6. And he's got his first in response to that Hogan max.
$100. Robert, you require 140.
Another 2 treble 20s for double 10 for 326. Beautiful.
120.
An incredible effort.
Paul, you require 118.
But Hogan, to keep his throw, needs treble 20 and double 19, and that is in. And so is that.
Paul Hogan.
This game has just hotted up a little bit. A really good checkout from the man in the very recognisable shirt. That's a very difficult out.
Third leg, it's Robert to throw first.
Just as Robert Owen thinks it's going to be 2-0, Hogan has different ideas. Let's
60.
talk about Robert Owen from yesterday then. Strangely, he had the second highest running average yesterday and finished 3rd. But weirdly, the highest running average from yesterday was Gary Robson, who was last in the table. And the 2 biggest 180 hitters
100.
were Robson and Owen. Slightly giving us anomalies, these statistics, over the last 24 hours.
140.
But you can see where the battles were won and lost. The 2 smallest doubles percentages belonged to Robson and to Owen. Robert with 28% on the outer ring.
24.
With that in mind, he did have a big out of 158, but it wasn't the biggest of the night. That belonged to Hogan, who had a 160.
60.
Hogan leaves 161, which Robert has hit twice this week already. Both of those coming in efforts in Group A.
140.
Like
Paul,
I
you
mentioned at the
require
top of the show,
161.
he really shouldn't be playing tonight, because if he'd have got the win against Diogo Portela in the last game of that group, he'd already be in the finals.
95.
Still a very good chance of making it, though. That's a great approach.
Paul, you
Huge
require
pressure on this 66. But this is a good chance to break. He's going to go 20 for double 18.
Game shot on the third leg.
He's in a good mood, isn't he?
Hogan.
He's got a relaxed attitude tonight coming into today's play. And maybe getting those 8 points in yesterday's session has given him a bit of freedom.
Fourth leg, it's
He's at
Paul
the
to
halfway
throw
point
first.
in this best of 7 leg contest. And he's getting better.
135.
2 leg wins, 2 shots at a double. 66 out. 118 out.
125.
Robert Owen is going to have to lift his 90 average to get the win here, you feel.
$97.
Just to put it out there, this dart shirt for Paul Hogan is so different because he usually has a shirt that reflects his love for West Bromwich Albion,
100.
his favourite football team. But I'm very disappointed in Paul because he hasn't had a dart shirt reflecting a shrimp on a barbie yet.
99.
There's time yet. Or maybe he's already got one, he just hasn't showed us yet. Maybe he's going to leave that for the finals tomorrow.
100. Paul, you require 170.
He's got 6 darts from this position.
98.
Making pretty much the most of it. And Owen's in a bit of bother. Earlier on tonight, I tipped Robert to have a very good first match, and he's been here longer than anybody preparing.
168. Paul, you require 72.
Wow. Really? Double 18?
54.
I've just seen old school Paul Hogan
Robert, you
try to go double-double
8.
on 72. Is this the Twilight Zone?
Game
Great
shot.
shot.
On the fourth leg.
Robert Owen will
Owen.
count himself really lucky that he got that shot at double 2. But I'm still smarting from the fact that Hoagie went for 2 double 18s on 72 with 3 darts in hand.
Fifth leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
When you see these old school players do new school tactics like that, or exhibition style shots,
140.
it takes you by surprise. Maybe he likes double 18 so much that he wanted to hit it twice.
180.
He has got his second 180 though. And this high quality game has gone up a notch, both averaging 96 now.
40.
And this is a quality group, don't get me wrong, but I think these guys underperformed yesterday. The average throughout the night was only 85.93,
43.
which is a good 3 points down on what we saw in Group C. And the doubles at 31%, that's a good 3% down on what we saw from previous groups. So they have a bit of catching up
100.
to do, quality-wise. Are they about to show us that over the course of the next 10 matches?
55.
If you are staying up late to watch all of us tonight on Sporty Stuff TV, we welcome you, and I hope you are able to stay comfortable with the power on. In the UK, we've had some real weather problems today.
100.
A lot of people losing power. I hope you're all safe and well and comfortable. Stay indoors. Watch the darts.
137. Robert, you require 121.
Are we about to see a game-changing shot? This is just a hold, though. And Hogan's going to get another chance to break the throw.
81. Paul, you
This
require
would
86.
hurt. Double 16.
Game shot on the fifth leg.
So clinical.
Paul Hogan.
14 darts to break, and he now has the opportunity of serving this one out. We have been treated to some real quality in this first game of the night.
Sixth leg, it's Paul to throw first.
He's maybe one leg away from a king of the hockey performance, which, if you don't know, is most 180s the win and the highest finish. And he's got the third 180 to up his average to 98 now.
$140.
How typical of Robert Owen's week. He's having his best game of the group, and he's losing by 3 legs to 2.
100.
Key stat here for Hogan is 75% on doubles. We saw some incredible stats on doubles earlier today, especially from Daryl Pilgrim,
100.
who had 2 games where he was flawless in one of them. The other one was 80% on doubles. And over the course of those 2 matches,
59.
he missed 1 shot at a double. 9 attempts and 8 hits. Incredible stuff.
140.
You just sensed that maybe he needed the full boat there, as they call it.
89.
Well, that one's a wide.
Robert, you
bullseye
require
to lead double 16.
121.
11 for that bullseye. He's got the treble for double 14.
107.
That might be the last start he throws in the match.
Paul,
averaging
you require
97 and a
73.
half. What?
53.
Treble 13 on 73?
Robert, you require 14.
That would have left double 17.
Game shot on the 6th leg.
That's a
Robert
13 dart break on double 7. Boy, am I confused at some of the things I've seen tonight already from Paul Hogan. He's keeping the spotter, the guy who looks at the doubles on the board, up on his toes, and me too.
7th and final leg. It's Robert to throw first. Game on.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody go for treble 13 on 73. And then his next dart, he almost busted by hitting the treble 20.
140.
Fair play to Robert Owen, though, staying in this match. High quality affair.
45.
And by getting a win on his throw here, with 3 matches to go, he will get to 6 points and be 2 points behind Hogan and just keep him in
85.
arm's length, just about. At the minute, 4 points ahead. He can't be caught.
85.
But he could be over the first half of action if Owen gets this leg.
100.
Solid. And a very large lead. You feel Hogan needs the lot.
137.
You're thinking 140. You're thinking 136. Either will be fine. 136 it will be.
136.
And you've got to give Robert Owen a stack of credit here. Because it was a 13 dart break in the last leg, and he's on for another 13 darter here. And if he takes it with his first dart, his average is almost
Robert,
100.
you require 40. Game,
Absolutely
shots,
the best
and the
performance
match.
of this
Robert
group so
Owen.
far. It was a great game of darts. Let's have a look at the stats in this one. 99.23, by far and away the best performance statistically. Game number 2 of our action here at the Online Darts Live League tonight will involve Shaun Griffiths of Partington near Manchester and against Lincolnshire's Scott Williams, who had a very unusual Thursday night. He's got the yellow socks back on, looking chipper as usual. Could be an interesting encounter, and if Scott Williams can repeat what he did against Shaun Griffiths yesterday, he will be very happy indeed, because he won that game by 4 legs to 0. But what we've already seen tonight was quality. Robert Owen with the best average of the group so far, but we know that these guys can raise their level even further than that. Their personal best averages in this group have not been at their A+ standard, but we have evidence from last year that they can raise that level.
Scott to throw first. Game on.
In fact, Scott Williams' personal best in this room is 108.08, and Griffiths has gone as high as 106.52. Let's see a bit of that,
57.
guys. So, Griffiths yesterday, somewhat unusual evening. Like Scott Williams, he was
80.
involved in some really tight tussles. He started with a 4-3 loss to Gary Robson, and then it was a 4-3 loss to Paul Hogan. Then a 4-3 win against Robert Owen, and he finished up with a bagel loss to Scott Williams in match number 4. I mentioned Shaun is from Partington near Manchester, and he wanted me to mention that everybody at Partington Working Men's Club will be supporting him this evening.
58.
Very important to have local support when you're off on a venture like this, and of course when you have success it's always nice to go home and smile about it. And Shaun will be hoping that tonight he's going to bag enough points to get it
60.
into the top 3, which would give him another crack at Saturday Night Glory. His running average yesterday was the lowest of all of the players, 82.04.
177.
And he might be up against it here with Williams starting to find what he has been looking for. Not a maximum, but just as good as. Back comes Griffiths
180.
with the first maximum of the match.
Scott, you require 86.
Should be a single 18 for the bull.
61.
That would have resulted in the first
Shaun,
leg
you
won
require 41.
by the man from Lincolnshire. But Shaun Griffiths put the pressure on via that maximum. This is a very good first leg from the 2-time World Youth Championship semi-finalist.
Game shot on the first leg.
And that was
Shaun Griffiths.
very authoritative. I was just trying to say that the right way. Very hard word to get out, but that's exactly what that shot was. About as good a leg as he has had
first. Game on.
for the last couple of days. That was a 14-darter. He did have an 11-darter last night, which, funnily enough, was the best leg of the entire night. So are we about to see the real Shaun Griffiths?
80.
And the reason why he's had a couple of darts on the floor, and he had a couple last night as well, his dart's going very upright. And if he catches the dart first before the point hits the board, that's what happens.
81.
You do have to survey how your darts behave when they hit each other. There's a fair bit of aggression on the face of Shaun tonight.
100.
And it's all about the fact that he wants to play tomorrow. As for Scott Williams yesterday, a very unusual start for the man ranked number 1 in the Challenge Tour Order of Merit. Started with a 4-3 loss against Robert Owen, a game he should not have lost. Too many missed doubles. And then he also lost to Paul Hogan in his next game, and you feared the worst. But after that, he was very good. He beat Gary Robson by 4 legs to 0.
100.
And then he beat Shaun Griffiths by 4 legs to 0. And by virtue of those large margins of victory, he found himself in second position behind Hogan in the table at the end
58.
of the first night. So he is protecting second spot. But unfortunately, with Robert Owen's first win of the night, he's now sitting in third.
$96.
Opportunity here for Griffiths, who will throw at the bullseye with his next dart to give himself the chance of a 2-0 lead against the fancied Lincolnshire ace.
58. Shaun, you require 125.
He'll be happy to see that Scott is way back on 164. That's the 25 out the way. $60 more leaves tops.
85.
He's playing at a high level here. Almost
Scott, you require
the
164.
same level as we saw from Robert Owen in the previous match. Another. Gave it every chance.
126.
Well, he's left a double.
Shaun, you require 40.
He is a bit unusual on approach shots. He is very entertaining to watch. Is he going to be 2-0 down?
Game, Shaun,
Yes,
the
he
second
is.
leg.
That's
Shaun
a really
Griffiths.
good kill. We talk a lot about these key shots, like the 41 in the first leg, for instance, which he had no trouble with. But shots like that, to save a checkout, can make all the difference.
Third leg, it's Scott to throw first.
Leg difference starting tonight for Scott was at +5.
180.
You know for a fact that that is going to come into play. Griffiths starting on -5. They're 10 legs apart, and yet only 2 points apart.
55.
If Scott Williams is to lose matches tonight, he would dearly love those losses to be as close as possible. Not that he wants any defeats, but
59.
every single leg counts. We know that from watching Group C. Pilgrim in first position. Warburton in second position. Stephen Burton in third. They were all separated by 1 leg. And they played 30 matches in that group. 1 leg. That was it. Between elimination and succession into Saturday night.
98.
Stephen Burton is going back to Suffolk now thinking 1 leg. As a result of that, Stephen can't qualify
96.
for Champions Week. He can't have a crack at the 2,000
Scott, you
bonus
require
tomorrow.
164.
These are the repercussions of losing 1 solitary leg. Does he go for it? Nah.
132.
It's a great response from Scott, who can play at a
99.
very elite level. That's why he's
Scott,
played
you
some
require
PDC Pro
32.
Tour action this year already. He's played in 4 Players' Championships,
Game, Shaun, the third leg.
and he's been having
Scott
plenty
Williams.
of legs like that. 13 darts for that leg, which is around the 115 standard. So if he can keep replicating that, Shaun's got issues.
Fourth leg, it's Shaun to throw first.
Throughout the Challenge Tour this year, Scott has been averaging 88.56.
85.
And in that average table, he's 17th, but he's first in the order of merit, which counts the most. A couple of other players in
93.
tonight's action have also played on the Challenge Tour. Paul Hogan and Robert Owen. And like I mentioned yesterday, Williams winning the first Challenge Tour event of the year beat Robert Owen in the final.
100.
The man at the top of the average in the top of the averages in the Challenge Tour, Lee Evans.
58.
There's been a fair few inquiries as to when he's going to make his first bow here. He might be coming by. You'll have to wait until tomorrow for me to give you the list of players for next week for week 4, which will be the final qualifying week
84.
for the first Champions Week of the year. We will announce those players in the first game of tomorrow night's session. Got to be a 180.
180.
And he sets up the possibility of the second ever 350-6. It was a year ago when we got our first one from Andy Jenkins versus Fallon Sherrick. Do us all a favour, Shaun. Hit the 25.
57.
Well, this means now that Scott Williams might not go for the bullseye if he gets 2 treble 20s. Go for it, Scott. Go for it. He's just denied us an effort, and I'm going to have words with him about that. That could have been an amazing effort. I know it's probably the right play, but how often do you see 350-6? Very rarely.
60.
They're rarer than 9 darters. I'm so disappointed.
32.
He doesn't care though, because let's face facts. His previous 7 darts were all in the section of the board that he wanted. So he's starting to play properly now.
5th leg, it's Scott to throw first. Game on.
Judging by the way he's throwing as well, he would have hit that bull. How many perfect darts is that now? 10? 180, 60-60, single 18, double 16, another 180. 10 perfect darts.
44.
This guy is good. Oh, he's not going to get to 11. But still, 10 perfect darts in a row.
121.
12 out of 13 ain't bad. That's for sure. What he has done is take the impetus of this game. He's now running
59.
with it. I am going to have words with him about that 350 though.
140.
It's one of my favourite things to see. I've only ever seen 2 of them. So if I can go and do it against me in an exhibition, and Andy Jenkins here a year ago, I've never seen it done anywhere else.
59.
However, he's on for an 11 darter here,
60.
which will be his best leg so far this week. He's had a 12. Has he got the 11? Double 10.
40.
He'll be back. Slight chasm in the averages of about 20 plus points. The way that Scott has been scoring the last couple of legs, you don't
45.
really look at that as a surprise.
Scott, you require 20. Game shot.
Very, very good. 13 darter, and his average, unfortunately for him, after a couple of missed doubles in the previous leg, has come down. Doesn't care about that. He just needs one more leg to get to 6 points in the table.
6th leg, it's Shaun to throw first.
And we now have to address that situation, because if he gets to 6, alongside Robert Owen, that means Hogan has 8, Williams has 6,
60.
Owen has 6, and the 2 players behind them have 2. They're 4 points behind.
57.
That could be a gap that might not be bridged. And Robson hasn't even played yet. These players are saying to him, he may have to win all 4 tonight.
59.
As well as Scott Williams' average climbing above 100, Shaun's has dipped just below 80 for the time being.
100.
But Williams is playing much better in this game than he did a little bit earlier in yesterday's session.
$60.
Well, Williams is on another gettable number here to leave a finish. So if you can't do 350-6, how about 344?
174.
Well, Okay, you can make it up to me, Scott. You didn't go for 350 in 6. How about this one? You have left 170 twice. How dare you not do it
60.
twice? Come on, finish it with a 170
Scott,
to
you
make
require
everybody happy on
170.
Friday night. Not meant to be. And of course, the only person who would have
98.
hated to see that was Shaun Griffiths, who had a 2-leg advantage at the start of this game.
$85.
He played much better in the first couple of legs, it has to be said. But
Scott,
since
you
then,
require 72.
Williams has taken the advantage. And he's now looking at double 6 for the match, a double he loves. He doesn't like double 3.
69.
Now sitting on 3. Single 17.
137.
This game is not over yet.
Scott, you
This
require
is a very
3.
difficult shot. Double 1 for the match.
No score.
So he's back to 3.
Shaun,
And
you
Griffiths
require
might
40.
still win this. Four mismatched darts for Scott Williams at 3 different doubles. Griffiths needs double 5 again.
35.
And this time it doesn't come up trumps.
Scott,
1
you
dart at double
require
6.
3.
1 dart at double 3 and 2 at double 1. If you're going to miss this, you have to miss it high.
No score.
The last thing you want is a
Shaun,
dart in your hand you
require
can't use.
5.
Double 2 to survive.
Game shot on the 6th
Well found.
Shaun Griffiths.
But he knows he should have been disposed of by now. And for the second game in succession, we are going to the 7th leg. And it's Shaun Griffiths who has the darts. No, it's Scott Williams who has it. I was looking at the way that Shaun was walking on the hockey there.
7th and final leg. It's Scott to throw first.
But what is
Game
Shaun
on.
thinking right now? He thinks the match should be over. Scott thinks the match should be over.
41.
Is this a free hit for Shaun? If I paint you a little picture in the averages, it again proves that they're just a guide. There's 19 between them. 19?
100.
Every now and again you see games where there's maybe 4 or 5 between them in a level game, possibly 10. But 19?
41.
Scott's going to be feeling as flat as a pancake right now. Most of his misses at double in this match came in that 6th leg. He's missed 8 shots at a double.
60.
And in total, it was 1 at 6s, 1 at 3s, 2 at 1s, and then another 1, so it's 5 mismatched darts.
97.
Can he snatch a victory from the jaws of defeat, potentially? I suppose the same could be said for both players.
134.
That treble 19's coming up trumps a little bit. And the way he
131.
switches around the board just goes to show that he's got a lovely rhythm. Scott is someone who practices with former world champion Rob Cross. You know, practicing with someone like Rob, who's a real workhorse, that is going to do things for your game. When Scott was going for his first match shots at 6s and 3s,
78.
his average was above 105. That's come down 10. He's a nice number
Shaun, you
in
require
92,
129.
but this would be a real steal. 60 for the bull.
57.
So Williams has a choice. I think
Scott,
he's going to go 60 here.
92.
Double 16.
Game,
And
shots,
match start number
and the
6
match. Scott
is
Williams.
found. You've got to say that maybe Scott Williams did deserve that one, because in the middle of the match he was the better player by some distance. But he made a bit of a meal of it, and he only just gets across the line in the end. The average looks really good, doesn't it, at 96? But it was over 10 better than that for the most part towards the end of the contest. A really big 2 points for his challenge. And now there's a big gap between the top 3 and the bottom 2. Will that remain for the rest of the night? Let's have a little word with Gary Robson, because after the break, he's going to take on a fellow quarter-finalist at the Lakeside on multiple occasions, Paul Hogan. That's coming up straight after this. It's time for match number 3 here in Group B on Friday night at the Online Darts Live League. And it's our first hello of the night to Gary Robson. He's up against Paul Hogan, who is playing his second match of the night after a 4-3 loss to Robert Owen in match 1. Good to see Robbo back, and he's got a bit of a job on his hands. It's fair to say that when you look at the table and how it stands right now. But the 58-year-old from Basingstoke is in a cushy position at the top of the table still. He does have 2 players on his tail, though. Robson on 2 points at the foot of the table.
First leg, it's Paul to throw
a leg
first.
Difference of
Game
-7. You may think that he will have to win all of his games tonight, all 4, which would get him to 10 points.
60.
If he doesn't, maybe 3 wins from 4 will get him in the top 3. But with the way things are working
45.
out, with Hogan on 8, Williams on 6, and Owen on 6, and both of those guys starting with a win, I distinctly
100.
think that Robson has got to win all 4. So if he looks at it the way that I do, as every game is a must-win, he'll stay urgent from now all the way through to his final game of the night, which is against Shaun Griffiths at maybe 1:45 in the morning.
84.
Now here is a really weird stat, because I couldn't get my head around it after last night's session. Robson finished in 5th position in the table after yesterday. He only got 2 points. He had 5 maximums, which was
41.
the second best. Very admirable. 5 maximums for 4 matches. That's pretty good. But he had the highest running average of any player in the group. And he was in the bottom position of the group. I just couldn't wrap my brain around that. In fact, Paul Hogan,
60.
who was top, had an average 4 less than Gary Robson, but he got 6 more points. What a weird night it was.
60. Paul, you require 156.
2 treble 20s for his favourite double. Doesn't get anywhere close. In
Gary,
fact, he equalises the score of Robson, who now has the darts. Double 16 for the first leg. And a break of throw in the first leg is a welcome report card. A for effort, A for execution at the end, and Robbo is 1-0 up.
Second leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
If you were watching Sporty Stuff TV around 8:30 this evening, we did have a little chat with the guys back in the studio about some of the picks for tonight.
59.
One of my picks for the night was more than 2.5 180s in the Griffiths and Williams match, and that one did come in. So if you are having a little bit of a gamble tonight, please
60.
do so responsibly. We can't emphasize that enough. It is for 18s over, and begambleaware.org for more information.
17.
That performance from Scott Williams was a King of the Ocky performance, which is most 180s, biggest finish, and the win.
85.
If Hogan had beaten Robert Owen, he would have had King of the Ocky in that one as well, but he didn't get the win, did he? Didn't get the points.
97.
Now, Gary will be hoping that he's not going home to Newcastle first thing tomorrow.
97.
He'll want to postpone that by a day. He'll want to be home on Sunday. Give this storm a chance to pass.
83.
He wants to have a crack at that $2,000 tomorrow night. Go up against Wolfie one more time. Because he was involved in Group A earlier this week, of course.
43.
He's put in a big shift this week, trying to find his way to the finals. He would not like to play 4 straight days
97.
without the invitation to Saturday night. But things seem to be going his way so far.
60.
When they played yesterday, Paul Hogan won 4-2
Gary require 148.
with the best individual average in a game, in a winning game, in all of the session yesterday of 93.3. That's already been bettered
Paul, you require
twice
156.
tonight. The averages in this game
44.
are reflecting a regression in standard from Hogan
Gary, you
from the
require
first game.
8.
But Robbo doesn't care about that, because he's now 2-0 up.
Leg. Gary Robson.
And for someone who needs legs in the bank to get himself wins, what he also needs are big victories, because his leg difference is in a dire situation.
Third leg, it's Paul to throw first.
-7 it is. The top 3 are all in the positive column. Owen +2, Williams +6, Hogan
60.
+5. So a big victory here for Robbo would do himself a lot of favours going into his second match against Scott Williams, which is in match 5. Just want to give a couple of our Live League fans a shout out. Thank you for getting in touch, guys.
100.
Mark Marlowe has been in touch saying evening all. Thank you for tuning in, Mark. Great to have you with us. Another Mark from Dublin. He's tuning in from Ireland. Great to have you with us
125.
as well, Mark. And TW, I believe he's in Ireland as well. He's been looking back at that Andy
85.
Jenkins 350-6, which Scott Williams sadly rejected in the previous game, and I've already taken to Twitter to voice my displeasure at the fact that he didn't go for it. But Robbo is going for this first maximum of the night, and he sets up a finish that he's already completed in this match.
41. Gary, you require 111.
Is it a question of deja vu? Nope, because he doesn't get the 60.
31.
Well, the only bright side to that visit is that he's now on a finish that doesn't require the bull. 95 left, down for 19s.
139.
So this should
Gary, you require
have been
80.
a lot easier. Tops, 2 darts in the way.
Game
Doesn't matter though. 3-0 Robbo,
Robson.
and his best leg of the match comes in that one, which was a breaker throw, and it was 15 darts. So he's making a big move in this third match of the night.
Fourth leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
I've been telling stories about Gary all week, all positive, of course.
140.
Many a player on the tour has spent time with Gary, and I don't know any people really that don't like him. Everybody knows he loves a bit of bait, as they say in Northumberland. Likes his food. Likes to have a laugh with the boys. That's the thing, he's always been one of the boys. Used to be really tight with Gary Anderson back in the day.
23.
Until Gary chose to go to the PDC and Robbo decided to stay in the BDO system.
55.
Still got a lot of mates in darts up north, and he's very well known worldwide. Just goes to show how proud he is of being from the northeast, because no matter where he goes to play darts, he always goes back there. He's highly respected by some of the best players that have ever come out of England. But the one similarity these two have got, more than anything else, is that they've both been to the quarterfinals
60.
at the Lakeside. I went full on baritone there. I couldn't quite do the Richard Ashdown. He's got a different tone to me.
100. Gary, you require
I
138.
think Robbo would say that he should have gone deeper at the lakeside. But he's going deep for a 138.
102.
I love that route. Very rarely used. Everybody goes the treble 19 route or the 138 Della route where it's 60, 54, double 12. I love that 36 on the end of that one.
140.
And it will give Robbo a 4-0 victory.
Gary, you require 36.
Keep his chances alive in this group. Double 9.
Game,
Oh, it's
shots,
huge.
And the match.
So
Gary Robson.
everything going according to plan for Robbo in that one. And we have to look at things on the other side as well. Hogan with a 75 average did not get a shot at double in that match. It's a steady performance from Robbo, which is good enough to bolster his leg difference and points total. But losing 4-0 there, is that a big dent in Paul Hogan's chances? Because he's now lost 2 matches in succession with 2 to go, and he stays on 8 points in the table. Shaun Griffiths will come back to play against Robert Owen in match 4. That's coming up after this. Hello everyone and good evening. Welcome back to the Online Darts Live League. Paul Hogan, who leads this table, still remains on 8 points, but he is now in firm view of a couple of players. And one of those players is the person who beat Paul Hogan at the start of the night. That's Stack Attack, Robert Owen. A win here for Robert and he will go top of the table. And it will also ensure that Shaun Griffiths is probably not going to qualify with his leg difference and possibly 2 points. But if he does win here, he is very much back in it. Must win stuff for Shaun.
First leg, it's Shaun to throw first. Game on.
And just one of the statistics that's come through to me about the last match. Yesterday, Gary Robson didn't win any legs against the darts last
100.
night. 11 attempts, 0 wins against the darts. And he's just won 2 in the same match right there against Paul Hogan. Oh, how things can change after a night's sleep.
60.
Big hat tip to our head statistician here. Mark Walker does an amazing job. One of the hardest working men in the game of darts.
80.
Ooh, grandfather clock shot. Just like the pendulum dangling away inside that big clock. That's why we call it the grandfather clock. No registered points though for Shaun.
140.
The opportunity was there for Shaun in his previous match against Scott Williams. Scott missing
70.
multiple match darts to win it by 4 legs to 2. Shaun got back in it to take it all the way, but didn't get a shot for the match himself in the last leg.
121.
And one of the reasons why Robert Owen does tend to push that dart into the 1 now and again on his third dart, as he does tend to walk after it before it is delivered. If he could just stay still for about 1 second more on dart 3, I think he'd find a little bit more accuracy. Just watch this. Oh, well, we cut away from it, so we'll just watch it a little bit later, hopefully.
126.
57 needed. He's got the darts in this match. Doesn't want to be broken in leg 1.
$94.
Great last dart.
Robert, you require 102.
87 remain. Might have to check with the referee here. That's what they're there for.
50.
So Shaun has seen his opponent falter on that 102 shot. He has to take this out to close Robert out.
Shot on the first
and he has done so by hitting double 16 for the second time tonight. A good, tidy first leg, and now he's got to build on that after that 17 darter.
Second leg, it's Robert to throw first. $80.
There you see that third dart faltering once again. And I do a little bit of darts coaching myself, looking after people's
75.
technique. But darts on the floor there for both players, because they keep clattering into their own equipment in their own individual way. You have to give the dart the best possible chance. There you see, on that third dart there from Stack Attack, he's just leaning into that third dart, and he's delivering it on the move. If I was having a session with Robert, I would tell him to stop doing that. You have to throw darts 1, 2, and 3 the same. The third dart is just as important, if not more important, than the others.
100.
Stay in the same position. Give it every chance. We mentioned yesterday that Shaun Griffiths had won the World Masters Boys Championship on 2 occasions.
60.
And on the first time that he won it, he beat Michael Smith. One of the players who has had me banging my head against the wall over the last 10 years, because he tends to walk on his third dart as well.
60.
Not that it's detracted much from his game, because he is quite the player. Just look at this from Shaun, though. Full extension,
100.
stops, then walks after the dart once it's delivered. That's really good technique. Even though he does have that follow through, which goes to his right.
60. Shaun, you require 126.
It's quite a forceful follow through. Been here before. This time he gets 2 single 19s, whereas last time it was a
58.
treble 7 on dart 2 for the 126.
Robert, you require 120.
He can find this 60 to the left. Only just misses out on it.
60. Shaun, you require 68.
Options here. Looking straight down the barrel at the treble 20. Oh, he went the treble 12 route. I didn't expect him to do that. That single 9 leaves 59. Top bin.
48.
We know what Owen's doing. He'd
Robert,
love
you
this
require 60.
single 20 to be about a centimetre below the tops. That'll do. Double 10.
Game Shaun, the second
Good find in
leg.
the end.
Robert Owen.
Because if he misses that and he goes 2-0 down, he's going to have to do something that he did in the first match against Hogan, which is find a massive amount of quality from nowhere.
Third leg, it's Shaun to throw first.
It's always there with Robert. We saw it in the first game. A 99.23 average, but
46.
darts is such a mystifying sport where you could, in the next game, average 20 less than that, which is exactly what's happening now. There's so many
100.
different statements that come out of your teammates when you're playing locally, like dip your bread, which is a bit of a euphemism for finding the 60.
55.
Or get in amongst it. Kick in. Let's get cracking. There's some of the things that I used to hear from my teammates. Some other things that couldn't be broadcast as well.
100.
But if Robert Owen starts finding that first start in the 60, that's something he can build on. Just look at this from Shaun. As soon as he finds the first start, everything gets
180.
easier. I've probably said that already this week 5 times. But it is the case for both of them.
180.
I rest my case. Should be a 140.
100.
And he squints at it
Robert,
as
you
if to say,
require 121.
yeah, it should have been a 140. 51 for Bull. And now Griffiths has the chance for a 15-dart
57.
hold.
Shaun, you require 120.
This is awful. Has to move. That is a world-class dart.
100.
A few other players might have gone for 2 bullseyes
Robert, you require
because the 60 was
64.
that covered, but that second dart was one of the best shots he's had all night. Tops for Owen.
Game shot on the third leg.
Could be one of the
Robert
biggest
Owen.
darts he's thrown all night long, because that is now a break. And if he can hold in leg 4, he is on the cusp of being top of the table for the first time in Group B.
Fourth leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on. $60.
Before tonight began, my picks for getting through this group, pretty predictable actually, was the top 3 as it stood. Hogan, Williams and Owen.
180.
But Shaun knows that if he loses this and remains on 2 points with 2 games to go, it's very unlikely that he's going to find his way into the top 3.
140.
But what he has done before is play on a Friday night in a Group B and got through to the Saturday finals by winning the last 2 matches and getting in
45.
by a very fine margin. He's going to have to do it again. His job would have been so much easier had he got that win against
60.
Scott Williams. He just wasn't able to get a match dart in leg 7. We will see Scott Williams next up against Gary Robson in match 5, which
45.
will take us to the halfway point of our action for tonight. I sincerely hope everybody tuning in on Sporty Stuff TV is enjoying it. Whatever you're doing tonight, don't be afraid to get in touch with us at Darts Live League.
60.
You can tweet Sporty Stuff TV as well. Just search for TV Sporty on Twitter. And indeed myself at the Asset 180.
85.
Please keep it kind. There's enough negativity in the world. Let's be nice to each other.
96.
Still don't know how he
Shaun,
does
you
that.
require 146.
That was a great last start. However, it found that 57. And he will have a look at the 85.
90.
Biggest exchange of the match
Robert,
so
you
far.
require 85.
I could say that pretty much every leg because this has been very close. Double 14.
71.
Just too big a collision on his own flight.
Shaun, you require
That's what deflected
56.
it away from the 28 bed. Well, who needs tools in darts when you got your mouth? The old darting wrench that is your own teeth.
16.
You see the pain on his face from that side camera.
Robert,
Closes
you
his
require
eyes
14.
as if to say, please tell me somehow that that made it in. Unfortunately,
Shaun,
it
the
didn't.
fourth leg.
And Owen
Robert
does
Owen.
somehow hold to give himself a 3-1 lead. So Griffiths at the point of no return, not for the first time tonight, has to win 3 straight for 2 points.
Fifth leg, it's Shaun to throw first.
But to make his situation even better, Robert Owen, if he wins by 4 legs to 1 or 4 legs to 2,
140.
will improve his leg difference and get closer to where Scott Williams is, who currently has the best leg difference in this group at +6.
100. 60.
It's a long way to come for Shaun Griffiths to the Live League. Safest place to be today was indoors practicing. I'm sure that's what he was doing.
60.
How was Robert Owen not got a treble 20 there? Casting so many shadows over the lipstick, but not able to dip his bread the way that Shaun is doing now.
100.
I've known Shaun a long time. In fact, I've known him about 11 years. I used to practice with him a little bit at O'Reilly Snooker Club in Chorlton. But he was quick to remind me a little bit earlier
60.
tonight that he's not from Chorlton. He's from Partington. That was my mistake. I apologise, Shaun.
139.
That's a bit like saying I'm from Bedlington, when in fact I grew up in Blythe. So I completely understand. People are quite sensitive about that kind of thing.
100.
It's a bit like
Shaun,
saying
you
that Robert
require
Owen's
62.
from Llanelli, when in fact he's from Bridgend. Double 16.
Game Shaun,
That
the
is the
fifth
section
leg.
of the
Shaun
board
Griffiths.
that has been more fruitful for him than any other. That's 3 occasions now where he's had very little trouble on the 32 bed. So if you get the chance,
Fifth leg,
Shaun,
it's Robert
keep
to
leaving
throw
it.
First. 60.
Like I say, don't be afraid to get in touch tonight. Let us know what you're doing as you watch the darts. I think we have a new fan as well from over the pond. A guy called Mike Lichniak, who works in the weather service in Maryland over on the East Coast. He was watching a little bit earlier on today. He's got in touch again. Great to have you with us, Mike. Hope you're enjoying the action and spread the word. We'd love to have more people watching from over the pond. Hope all is well in Maryland. Whenever I hear from somebody in Maryland, I always think, I wonder if they're a Baltimore Ravens fan. And if 60. Indeed you are, Mike, you and I have probably got a lot to talk about because I'm a Steeler fan.
$60.
4 maximums in this match. 2 each. And over the last couple of matches, we have had King of the Hockey performances
59.
From Scott Williams and from Gary Robson. If Robert Owen wants that, he has to win the game. He has to have the most 180s and the biggest
140.
Finish. He's got the biggest finish. He hasn't got the most 180s, but he's very close to the win.
$59. Robert, you require 61.
Plenty of time to get this done, and he went for treble 7 for tops. That's in the 14. First match dart.
41.
And he will return for double 10 to give Shaun Griffiths possibly his marching orders from match number 4.
100.
Shaun's averaged 86
Robert,
and a half here,
20.
and Robert 85. But it seems like he's had so many more opportunities, and those opportunities have been taken as Robert Owen, for the first time in Group B, will grace the top spot, and Paul Hogan is now demoted to second. So as you can see, the Owen average came down a little bit with that last shot, but the checkouts were excellent at 50%. Shaun Griffiths is possibly now not going to qualify. He's only got 2 matches left, and he can only get to 6 points. We're going to take a short break. We're going to say that again, shall we? Take 2. We're going to take a short break now. But when we come back, it's going to be Gary Robson up against Scott Williams. Welcome back, and we could have our first person eliminated from Group B after this next match, which will take us to the halfway point, where everybody has played 2 games. Robson up against Williams now, as he tries to reverse things from yesterday when Scott beat Gary by 4-0. The table is intriguing now, and with Griffiths on 2 points with 2 games left, we know that if Scott Williams wins this, Shaun is gone. But Gary will be hanging on like Sylvester Stallone in Cliffhanger.
It's Gary to throw first. Game on.
Gary already knows, even after his 4-0 win against Paul Hogan, that he must keep winning. If he does win this and gets to 6 points, he will be on the same points as Scott Williams with 2 matches to go. So very, very possibly in with a shout of coming through this group. But if he loses,
140.
He's going to need favours. Unquestionably, Shaun Griffiths wants Robbo to win this match. And he will then have
100.
To win against Paul Hogan next and against Gary Robson in match 9. And hope that that's enough.
96.
But if Williams wins, we are down to 4. And the next 2 games for Griffiths will be for pride.
100.
I've had a nice tweet from Kyle Simpson, who said he'd like a shout out as he practices at home. Kyle, keep up the good work. Love your dartboard.
133.
You've made a good choice there. All the very best with your practice, and I hope you enjoy that alongside watching the darts action tonight. And to everybody tuning in this evening.
100. Scott, you require 132.
Bullseye. Or 57 for the bull. I shouldn't have said bullseye.
92.
If I hadn't, he might have got that.
You require 141.
So by that notion, I'm not going to see anything now. I'm just going to watch. Oh, that was close. What a great effort from Robbo.
40.
Double 5.
35.
Well, he missed the double 5 by the same margin as the
Gary
tops, and they were both
24.
low. Is he having problems at the top of the board? Somewhat quizzical look there from Robbo at double 12 as he missed it twice with 2 jet-like darts. But on the 3rd shot, he's won his 5th consecutive leg of tonight.
Second leg, it's Scott to throw first. Game on. 100.
Just had an interesting tweet from Tom Huntley on social media. Really enjoying the live league tonight, and he's asking me
46.
if I've ever played against Humberside or any of the players from around there. Actually, I haven't. It's one of the counties I never had the privilege of playing against. I do believe
51.
that Rhys Robinson, a player that has been to the live league last year, I believe he's from Humberside. He's from Hull, isn't he? And Tom's saying that that's an up-and-coming area for darts. Well, I hope that's the case. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sure Mervyn King played
92.
a season for Humberside back 20 years ago. My memory's usually good for things like that. Merv played for
140.
multiple counties. He played for Cambridgeshire. He played for Humberside. And I'm pretty sure he played for Norfolk as well. He might have played for Suffolk
58.
as well. He might have even played for 4 counties. Yeah, but I don't have a great deal of knowledge of players from Humberside. Rhys Robinson is the best that I've got in my locker.
59.
If you are watching from outside the United Kingdom, Humberside is in the east of England. Somewhere between
140.
Yorkshire and Norfolk.
Gary require 116.
So, missed double 12 on the 141. And his not going to take this 116.
76.
So Williams could inflict the first
Scott,
leg
you
defeat of the
require
night on
60.
Robbo. Had a bit of trouble on tops in the first leg.
40.
And he has the same trouble on the same beds once again.
Gary, you require 40.
Double 10 for Robbo.
Game
And
shot
he
the second
finds that
leg.
shot as
Gary
well.
Robson.
So everything seems to be going Robbo's way tonight so far. 1.5 games completed without losing a leg.
Third leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
If he was a cat, he's using up lives, that's for sure. It's fair to say that Paul Hogan did
40.
not really turn up in Gary's first game of the night. And so far, he has survived 5 leg darts from Scott over 2 legs.
91.
You can't keep letting that happen without it coming to bite you eventually. This is where you've got to hit the front as far as the leg is concerned. Stick in a couple of 140s and a ton and put pressure on your opponent. You can't just rely on them to miss doubles. Someone of Scott's caliber is not going to continue to do that.
60.
Even though Scott Williams is giving us the greater
100.
average in this game, it does feel like he's the one that's chasing, and he's left 350 again. Leave the 170, Scott. You know what to do.
140.
I am still going to have a word with him about that. I'm very, very ticked off by it. I don't understand why you would reject the opportunity of the biggest 6-dart
59.
conversion. It's the equivalent of somebody hitting a 180 followed by a 177, like Gerwin Price last night in Belfast, and saying, do you know what? I don't fancy it. I'll go 60-60, and I'll just throw the other one out the board, and I'll get it for a 10-darter. Let's see, you got 240 yards to the pin on a par 5, and you know for a fact you can hit your 5-wood 240 yards. And then you go and lay up. Behaviour like that, it annoys me. Double 18.
58.
And if he's missing doubles, he's missing them
Gary, you
short.
require 151.
Hello. 74. Turns into 32.
119.
So is it
Scott,
going to be
you
another one of
require
those
80.
legs? He's had a shot in every leg. Double 3.
12.
He's had
Gary, you
3
require
darts
32.
to win this leg. Multiple darts in every leg.
No score.
But this time Robbo can't bank it.
Scott, you require 6.
He may pay the price for that.
Game
And
shot
does,
the third
as Scott
leg.
Williams finally finds a double in this match. Let's have a look at the 9th attempt. Interesting stuff. He is a really good marksman, but the doubles have been off in this one, and he's lucky to be 2-1 down.
Fourth leg, it's Scott to throw first. $57.
His darts are behaving a little odd tonight. They seem to be diving when they get to the board. Maybe he just has to throw them a tiny bit
60.
harder to let them penetrate the air a little bit more. Sometimes you have to do that. You've got to make adjustments on the fly.
96.
It's really funny when
60.
you shout out for a couple of people on social media on broadcasts just like this, and now everybody wants a hello. I might just have to have a blanket statement and say, everybody who's watching tonight, thank you for tuning in. It's really good to have so many people tuning in to watch this action tonight. Everybody loving a bit of Friday night darts. The likes of Mark's housemate James over in
54.
Dublin. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sure that's a very jovial household. Someone asking me about Gezi Price's 9 darters from last night. Yeah, that was pretty special. Pretty special indeed. I said a few years ago
95.
that Geraint Price, before he won the world title, is one of the best talents we've had in the last 25 years, and people scoffed at me for that. They said, "What are you saying?" Yeah,
124.
I was kind of right, and I'm feeling pretty smug about it. Thank you to Martin Turner from Yorkshire, one of my pals from up there, who has confirmed
44.
that Mervyn King used to play for Humberside. Thanks for confirming that, Martin.
Scott, you require 24.
Haven't lost me marbles yet. Double 12. Now double 6. Now double 3 again. And he decides not to go for it. That's the right play. Could be one of those games, you know, where Scott Williams does a Richie Burnett.
100.
I'll explain that in a second.
Scott, you require 24. Game shot on the 4th
right in the middle.
Scott
so
Williams.
He's had a dart to win every single leg in this match. He could have won it by 4 legs to 0 against Robbo once again. But it's now best of 3 from here.
5th leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
One of my favourite lines from any dart player
60.
was Richie Burnett coming off a Pro Tour game. And somebody asked him, "How did you get on, Richie?" And he said, I lost 6-3, bud. Should have won 9-0. There you go. Classic Richie Burnett. We are going to miss Richie here at the Live League this year.
140.
He provided us with so many highlights and so much in the way of personality and exuberance and unpredictability in 2021,
58.
and we can only thank him for it.
$180.
First maximum of the match right there. I had to look twice. What is it about
85.
Scott Williams leaving 350?
Gary,
It's not one of those natural numbers that you leave all the time, but he's left it about 6 times tonight. Yeah,
85.
I like that. 85 to leave 36. That's a dart player that knows the dartboard. So does Scott.
133.
And he halves his score to 132.
Gary, you require 36.
So for the lead once again.
Game shot
And
on
that is the
5th
first leg in
Gary
this
Robson.
match that has been done without any sort of trouble. So 13 darts from Gary Robson, and it is the first leg where Scott Williams has not had a shot at a double.
6th leg, it's Scott to throw first.
Robson is not going to go quietly. He doesn't travel all the way to the Live
81.
League to just have practice. He comes here to win. Start of the table tonight in bottom position, but had the best running average.
100.
Crazy stat. But tonight, he may not be playing at the same level average-wise, but he's picking up points.
140.
Great to have 2 of our regulars tuning in tonight. Fraser Gunn from Scotland and Stuart the Wee Man McNally.
140.
2 of the biggest darts fans that I know. Incredibly positive people as well. Hope you're well up there in Scotland. I hope you're safe.
140.
I'm sure you guys are covered in snow right now. What's Robbo up to? Another maximum, that's what.
180. Scott, you require
Could be on the
140.
cusp of victory as his average climbs to 87. Oh, look at that for a bull. That's a picture-perfect bull, that one. 72 left.
88.
I want to take that bullseye and frame it.
81.
It could be the bull for Gary for the match.
Game,
Oh,
shot,
two
and the
bullseyes in a
match.
row
Gary
that you'd want to
Robson.
frame. Beautiful. And look at the exuberance there from Gary. There's some energy in that walk to the board to retrieve the darts. He enjoyed that victory. 4-2 against Scott Williams, and he is now very much in with a chance of coming through this group. Great performance. 1 out of 3 on the doubles, but he did ride his luck in the first 4 legs, didn't he? He was lucky to be up, but when he found the accelerator, he went through the tape at speed. Great stuff in the first half of our action. Paul Hogan, who has not won a game tonight, won 4 last night, he's up against Shaun Griffiths in match 6 as we have the second half of our Group B action after the break. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Online Darts Live League. We're about to start the second half of our action here for Friday night. And Paul Hogan could do with a win here against Shaun Griffiths. And if he finds it, he eliminates Shaun from the proceedings and he just keeps everybody else at bay. The table is starting to shape up quite tightly. Griffiths has been cast aside on 2 points, but Robson with 2 wins from 2 is very much back in the race. Hogan, who has not won a game tonight, could do with a win just to take the pressure off a little bit, because his position in the top 3 is anything but safe right now.
First leg, it's Paul to throw first. Game on.
Not only 2 wins for Gary Robson so far tonight, but 2 King of the Hockey performances as well. One of them coming against Paul Hogan. Now, we're all hoping
121
that this game is a bit better than the one we had last night from these two, because I think they would both agree that it was not their best effort. Both averaged in the 70s, 7 legs, which ultimately saw Paul Hogan win by 4 legs to 3. He did have a couple of maximums in that game, and that was probably the highlight. Well, saying hello
100.
to everybody tuning in tonight, wherever you are. We have had tweets from Germany, from Hannah, as well, who says she accidentally dented Ross's car today in Storm Eunice. So use the darts to cheer yourself up, that's for sure. It's been a rough day.
60.
But from Germany, we've had Julius on, saying that they're having a practice after a stormy day in Germany. It looks like the Germans have been feeling the strength
58.
of Eunice as well. And Neil's been in touch. I'd like to give me a shout out for Mark, who is going to Riley's
100.
qualifiers this weekend to try and get into the UK Open. Yes, there are a couple of qualifiers this weekend, and good luck to everybody competing this weekend in those qualifiers. We hope you can get through to Minehead for the UK
96.
Open. Everybody here at the Live League
Paul,
wishes you well.
120.
For a Shanghai finish for leg number 1, it's tops.
Game shot.
That's
the first
better.
leg. Paul Hogan.
So much better. 15 darter from Hogan. And if he takes that and runs with it, I think Shaun might have to lift his level just a little bit.
Second leg, it's Shaun to throw first.
People do seem to be finding something against Shaun tonight so far.
46.
Scott Williams found just about enough in the end to beat Shaun by 4 legs to 3. And then Robert Owen had a little bit too much for him in match
82.
number 4. What we've got next is really intriguing. Robson against Owen. And if Robson does get his 3rd win of the night,
83.
that means he's on the same points as Robert. I get the feeling that this one is going to go to the very last match tonight.
180.
Just goes to show the skill of Paul Hogan, that he can get those big, bulbous, old bits of tungsten wrapped into that 60 bed. And that's not the last time we're going to see
80.
that from Shaun. He keeps banging into those very long darts. And when you hit the dart before the sisal in the board, that's what happens. He's doing it again.
139.
And he does the right thing. You'd much rather be on 100 than 99. And if you don't know why, I'm going to give you a few seconds to figure it out. So it's a darting quiz question
100.
for everybody practicing right now, watching
Paul,
the Live League.
100.
Why would you rather have 100 than 99? Well, he's got 99 already because he's hit a 1. He just stamps all over my pointers, Crocodile Dundee.
68.
Well, the answer to your question, or my question, is because 99 is a 3-dot finish and 100 is a 2-dot finish.
140.
That time the collision with the dart worked.
Pull you require 32.
But Hogan
Game
finds
Shaun
the green
second
for a
leg.
14
Paul
dart
Hogan.
break this time. And his stats are looking pretty healthy. 103 average for 2 legs. If he maintains that throughout the course of this match, he probably is going to be too strong
Third
for
leg is
Shaun.
Paul to throw first. Game on.
But it is fair to say that people are raising their level for Shaun. He's averaging 96 here and he's still losing 2-0.
100.
And everybody watching on at Partington Working Men's Club in Manchester will be thinking, what's he got to do to get some points tonight?
140.
More of that'll do. Paul's dart shirt reminds me of
100.
another dart shirt that I once saw on tour from Michael Barnard, who had a dinosaur on the shirt who was eating the dartboard. Well, the crocodile's not eating the
100.
dartboard, but it's pretty close to it. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if animals ate sisal, because it is a plant material that we use for
81.
dartboards these days. It used to be bristle, which I think was an animal hair. Dartboards have gone vegan.
80.
There, he keeps hitting those darts. Unfortunately, that just is a characteristic of his game. It happens to many top players, including the likes of James Wilson. We've seen 3 darts on the
60.
floor from Gary Anderson in a World Championship final, in fact. If it keeps happening, you have to make changes. You have to figure out why it's happening and how to eradicate it.
26. Paul, you require 160.
Hogan had one of these last night in his last game against Robert Owen. 260s and tops.
140.
If you're not going to get it, plan
Shaun,
B
you
is
require
definitely a 140.
155.
Griffiths has a drastic situation in front of him.
59.
And every leg he loses, he's closer to the exit.
Paul, you require 20.
Double 10. He should bust a lot, really.
No score.
Good plan.
Shaun, you require 96.
So it's a free hit for Shaun to break straight back. Does he go double-double? Maybe he should have.
56.
From a surface area point of view,
Paul,
double
you
18
require
double top
20.
made more sense.
Game
But
Shaun,
double
the third
10 is
leg.
found for a
Paul
3-0
Hogan.
scoreline, and Paul Hogan really needs this big victory. After leading the table after day one, he has been reeled in, but now to go back to the top, he needs one more leg.
Fourth leg, it's Shaun to throw first.
It's a good performance as well. 48 darts for the first 3 legs, even 16 darters.
60.
High check out of 120. 50% on the doubles. This is a very Paul Hogan type performance.
100.
It's games like this is why he's been capped for his country so many times in his life. He's played in the British Internationals 10 times
95.
over a 19-year period. And he's at it again
180.
with a second maximum of the match, stretching his lead in this leg to 125. And you just fancy
60.
that if Hogan leaves the finish here, it's only a matter of time before Griffiths is gone. And he's got one more game, which could have a big bearing on this group, but not for himself.
60.
His last game is against Robbo, who will be gunning for Robert Owen after this.
100.
6 darts from
All
161
you require,
to
161.
get a 4-0 victory to recover some of the legs he lost against Gary Robson in match 3.
100.
It would put him back to +5, but more importantly, on 10 points in the table. The first person to get to double figures.
85.
We know he likes
All
double
you
18,
require, 61.
so he should be going 25. There it is, double 18.
Game,
And that's the
shots,
match.
and the match.
Clinical
Paul
stuff.
Hogan.
And the average goes above 96 in the end. He didn't hesitate whatsoever. So maybe he's been using all of the information he's got from his opponents tonight to strike at one point, and Crocodile Dundee does get one of the best performances of the night. 57% on the doubles is vastly better than what we've seen from him a little bit earlier. He's got one match left to try and get to 12 points, but his predicament is a lot easier now than it was after the 2 losses from earlier. Shaun Griffiths is eliminated from this group, but now we go to Robert Owen and Gary Robson, and they're both vying for position in the 7th match of the night, which comes after this. We are now down to 4 games left in Group B, and we are by no means certain of our top 3 yet. 4 players vying for that top 3 spot, and only one person we know will not make it, and that's Shaun Griffiths. He's got 1 match left, and he is eliminated. But now it's Robert Owen against Robson, and it's a big, big game. Hogan in command on 10 points. You think he might be safe with 1 game left, but he can still be caught because Scott Williams has got 2 matches left, Robbo's got 2 matches left, and Robert Owen has got 2 matches left. Hogan's got his own destiny in his own hands when he plays Scott Williams after this.
First leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
These guys must keep winning. The first person to lose will be up against it.
83.
The situation is this. If Owen wins, he goes to 10 points. If Robson goes through this game and wins,
100.
he gets to 8. And all of a sudden, the favourite for the group at the very start yesterday will be in 4th place, but with a game in hand.
180.
What is it about Gary Robson when things get urgent? He turns something on.
180.
I've lost count of how many times he's done that this week, where someone's hit a 180 against him and he's found a response like that.
100.
The pace of this game will suit both players. They're both quite swift. They're what I would like to call, or what Alan Rickman would say,
60.
quite quick.
Gary, you require 138.
Likes to use that treble 17 on approach.
86.
That'll do. Or
Robert,
will
you
it?
require 161.
I did say or. Bull.
136.
Oh, that would have been
Gary, you
his
require
3rd
52.
161 of the week. Double top.
Game Shaun the
Robson's
first
playing
leg.
properly now.
Gary Robson.
He is mounting an assault on the top 3, that's for sure. He is playing like someone who refuses to go home.
Second leg, it's Robert to throw first.
So far tonight, he has won by 4 legs to 0 with an 83 average.
60.
Then 4 legs to 2 with an 86. But he looks like he's ready to up it even more. He lost to Robert yesterday
135.
with an 87 average. And fair play to Robert, he had a 92. He was the better player. Well, this has got the possibility of being the best game of the night.
180.
Especially now that we've got 3 180s in less than 2 legs.
140.
I do remember something that Gary Robson said to me years ago. We were playing at the Northern Club in Ashington, and he was drawn against Davy Richardson in a knockout competition. And everybody was watching it because these were the 2 heavyweights
91.
of Northumberland darts. Gary ended up winning it. I think it was 3-2. And the standard to us was astonishing. And I walked up to
40.
Gary and I said, well played.
Robert, you require
And he said something to me that I've
170.
never forgotten. He said that was a sorting the men from the boys match. Bull. He's determined to get a big
126.
finish in this game, isn't he, Robert Owen? Leg's not over yet.
Robert,
be
you
clinical.
require 44.
He's had 2 shots at double in this match. Both have been at the bull. And he finally gets a shot at the outer ring.
24.
And misses.
Gary, you require 86.
Ooh, things are getting tricky. Treble 14. Found. Oh, he's only gone and done it. What a save from Gary Robson. Move over, Shaka Hislop. What a save. As soon as he hits that treble four, every dart player in their own mind will think, oh, that could have been easier. I should be getting 18 bull here. But to be able to find that treble 14 and double 16 just goes to show what mood he's in.
100.
I bet you didn't expect me to say Shaka Hislop tonight. Neither did I. I should have said Pavel Cernacek, actually. The late great Pavel Cernacek.
83.
Robert Owen paid the price for missed bullseyes and 2 missed darts at tops.
82.
He's having his best statistical game tonight, but hasn't got a leg yet. Gary's hitting doubles.
42.
And he has to hit them too. He's the person of the 4 people vying for the top 3 who has the worst leg difference. He's got the most to do.
180.
That's Robert's 3rd maximum in this match. He's averaging 1 a leg.
134. Robert, you require 99.
As I always say on 99, put a flake in it, Robert. Double 16 this time.
67.
Now, will he be back? Because Robbo might go hunting for 51s here. There's one. Oh, he almost got the second one as well. I think when he threw that, he thought he'd hit it.
Robert, you require 32.
Both on double 16. This has got to go.
24.
And it doesn't. It could be hugely
Gary,
costly.
you require 32.
Is Robson about to get to the brink of the top 3 for the first time when he's playing his 7th match of his campaign? This is a great performance from Gary. Probably his best performance he's ever had here.
4th leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
45 darts for the first 3 legs of this contest, and he's averaging 100. He is yet to have a 3-figure average in this room at the conclusion of a match. In fact, his best performance is, I'm just checking my notes from a couple of days ago.
44.
97.8. It's better than that right now, that's for sure.
60.
Even though after that first visit in the 4th leg, it's dipped just under 97 for now. But with his leg difference at -1,
76,
and Owen's at +4, he can put Owen in all sorts of bother. He banks a 4-0 or a 4-1 win. This group is going to the wire. And Gary knows all about that on a Friday night. He was denied by 1 leg in Phase 5 last year by Conor Heenahan.
65.
He doesn't want to have that again.
97. Robert, you require 96.
Best hit this to not give Gary a shot for the match. That's a great first start. Double 16. He's 64. Having no joy on the doubles.
Gary,
he's now missed 10 of them. He's going to have to hit this double 16 now.
91.
Or the equivalent of 32 points in 3 darts. Otherwise, he's going to lose this match.
Game shot on the 4th
so,
leg.
He is very much alive, and you just don't know how important that leg could be. He's already missed out on winning Group A by 1 game it was, not one leg, but we've seen people lose groups from one leg today.
Fifth leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
The Owen average is over 100, but his doubles percentage is below 10%.
140.
How good would this average have been if he'd have hit doubles?
82.
Probably about 10% better. And on the flip side, you've got Gary, who's just under 100 average, and he's 100% on doubles.
100.
At this stage, I just want to congratulate Keane Barry and Bradley Brooks on a successful day in the development tour, both winning events in Wigan today. So congratulations, lads. Andrew Porter's been in touch as well,
100.
saying that his Friday night pub team have lost 5-4 tonight. And maybe one of the reasons for that is because Scott Williams is the captain. He's too busy coming here.
100.
Sorry, we stole him for the Friday night.
Gary, you require
But hopefully your team will go back to normal next week.
$58.
I think the bullseye might have been the play with the last dart. 25 would have left himself on 97. Owen's in trouble now.
80.
Oh, he hates that last dart. I don't blame him.
Gary, you require 103.
Even a single 20 would have left a finish. But Robbo, 103 for the win. Double 16 for a perfect doubles performance.
Game, shots,
4 from
and the
4
match.
on the doubles.
Gary Robson.
And that could well be Gary Robson's best performance under this roof. Let's have a look at the average. It's coming up right now. It's 98.04. And just when he needed a strong performance, he's gone and put in a personal best. It's not 100 average, but it is an improvement on what he has done here before. And the 100% on the doubles has got the job done. He's now in the top 3 for the very first time. And he's got one match left to try and stay there. Exciting stuff, isn't it? So, Scott Williams, he is now trying to keep his place in the top 3. And he's up against Paul Hogan, who is about to finish his campaign for the night. He's up next. This one could be a very good game, and we have some very good news if you're a fan of Paul Hogan. We've just done our sums, and Crocodile Dundee has qualified for Saturday night. He's already done enough with one game to spare, but his opponent has got work to do. Williams in the table is now in 4th position on 6 points, and if he was to lose this game, he's going to need favours from other players. And by other players, I mean Shaun Griffiths.
First leg, it's Scott to throw first. Game on.
So now it's Scott who will play 2 of the last 3 matches. And if he wins them both,
134.
he should be fine. And that would ensure that Robert Owen could be eliminated.
60.
An extremely exciting group that I have really enjoyed bringing to you this evening, wherever you're watching from. But we do have confirmation from
90.
our statisticians that because of the fixtures and how they sit for the rest of the night, Paul Hogan playing his last game here is already safe. So he's coming back tomorrow night.
100.
His total is 10 points and +5. Williams on 6 points and +4. So 2 wins behind
78.
Paul. He really could do with this win to get him to 8 points. Level with Robson and Owen going into
100.
their final matches of the campaign. So we know Hogan's through. We know Griffiths is out. But Griffiths could have a massive effect on the table if he can find a win against Robson next.
129.
But let's focus on this one. Yesterday, we saw a scratchy last game win for Hogan against Robert
100.
Owen by 4 legs to 3.
Scott,
But when he took on
70.
Scott Williams, it was a 4-2 win. Double top.
Game
And
shot
that
on the
is
first
better.
leg. Scott Williams.
Not just from the whole leg perspective, but the check out as well. Throughout the course of tonight, he's had real trouble on tops, and it's the first time he's taken it with any conviction.
Second leg, it's Paul to throw first.
Whatever happens with Robbo in the next game, you've got to be impressed with the way he has
100.
stood up and been counted. 3 games, 1 from 3, and he's on for the perfect 8 points like Hogan got yesterday.
100.
Only Shaun Griffiths has come up without a win this evening. Everybody else has found at least 1 win, including Scott Williams, who lost to Robbo,
140.
but beat Shaun in a somewhat arduous affair a little bit earlier. Could have easily lost that, even though he was dominating the match with an average in excess of 105 at one point.
41. $81.
Well, Kelvin's been in touch on social media asking, how does Robert Owen throw so much
55.
harder than Scott with the same amount of backlift? Yeah, darts techniques, they are a bit crazy. But if you look at the technique of Scott when he comes back,
140.
there's a lot of wrist flex. There's a flick in his dart when it's thrust forward. A little whip of the dart when it's thrust forward and the point climbs to the
92.
sky. Whereas Robert
All
Owen is
you require
pushing the dart
40.
through the air with his arm. There's no wrist involved. Hogan for double 10.
20.
Scott Williams not in range. So Hogan will be back in a matter of 10 seconds or so.
$99. All you require 20.
With the throw, looking to bank it in 6 visits.
Game shot on
And
the
that
second
is
leg.
the
Paul
second leg to
Hogan.
Paul Hogan. He doesn't look particularly pleased with winning that second leg. He should be pleased. He was the better player.
Third leg, it's Scott to throw first. Game on.
Yesterday we saw Scott using the yellow earplugs in one of his
57.
games. But he didn't have them in for very long. He wasn't that comfortable with them. And in fact, in one game, he removed his shoes.
100.
He was then subsequently told that it is a darts regulation authority rule that you must have shoes on when playing the game of darts. I'm afraid that is the case because the Online Darts Live League is
97.
regulated by the DRA. You can complete both 3-4-1 and 3-4-7 and 6. Now, is he going to make it up to me?
123.
Because he rejected that 350 earlier. I'm not going to let it lie. I'm like Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer with Scott Williams tonight. You wouldn't let it lie, would you?
40.
Now, if you don't get that reference, you're obviously under 30 years of age and didn't see Vic Reeves' big night out back in the early 90s.
120.
Oh, it doesn't register a point. Gets a bit of an unlucky head tilt there from our referee, Charlie. Hasn't really hurt him, though. He's a good 197 in front.
Scott, you require 104.
It's all about the points. That's all that matters. If he wins this game and he wins his next game, he's fine.
72.
He'll come back for 32. 2 wins would get him to 10 points, and it would stop Robert Owen from
100.
getting to 10.
Scott, you require 32.
Double 8.
Game Shaun the
Very
third
clinical.
leg. Scott
And when he
Williams.
needs to play well, he seems to be doing it on his own throw in this one. But now he has the chance to mount an attack on the Hogan throw in leg number 4.
Fourth leg, it's Paul to throw first.
Someone's going to leave tonight
140.
very disappointed. It's not going to be Paul Hogan. He could lose the next 2 legs and still be fine. And walk away with 10 points
57.
and a leg difference of +2. That would be enough. I did say at the end of yesterday's play that because Hogan got 8 points from a possible 8, that maybe all he needed to do tonight was get 1 win. That came against Shaun Griffiths
43.
by 4 legs to 0 with a very, very accomplished performance. He may know that the pressure's off.
100.
He may think he needs another win just to bank his spot. But everybody who's watching at home on Paul's behalf can rest easy.
100. Paul, you require 121.
The advantage of throw in this match seems to be very big indeed. Single 3. Just don't miss the 3.
113.
That's the risky thing about that play. Because imagine if you hit a 19 or a 17 there, you bust the score.
180.
What a last
Paul,
start
you
that
require
was.
8. Game
It's a good
Shaun the
shot.
fourth leg.
15
Paul
darter from
Hogan.
Paul Hogan to not give his opponent a shot at that 1-2-1. But I'm not going to forget about that 3rd dart from Scott. That was a belter. Really natural stuff from him, but it's 2-2.
Fifth leg, it's Scott to throw first.
The standard of play tonight has been so much better than last night. That can't be ignored.
96.
When the places in the final are on the line, these guys just crank it up a notch. And the focus has been so evident this evening. I'll say this evening, it's actually Saturday morning now.
140.
So, happy weekend, everybody. Or in the words of Daniel Craig, ladies and gentlemen, It's the weekend.
41. $60.
My statistician buddies tell me that we are 3.5 points overall better tonight compared to last night. So that tells
93.
you just how much better these guys are playing this evening than they were last night.
$83.
Well, that last start just gives Scott a bit of hope. 271 should be 19's first. Just bank 3 of those. Has to go 25 now. That leaves 170. I love seeing that counting prowess. The execution is great, but you've got to have the thought process first. And Williams
58.
is showing an elite level
Scott, you
counting
require
ability.
170. $98.
72 if he returns.
Paul, you require 160.
Paul got a 160 in his last match last night. No such luck this time. Not that there's any luck in a 160.
Scott, you require
Just
72.
a turn of phrase. Now, does Williams get a shot? Yes, he does at double 18.
54.
He might pay the price for not
Paul, you
taking this
require
leg in 6
60.
visits. Double top for Hogan. He misses double 10.
Scott, you require 18.
So Williams is dodging bullets. He's going 666.
Game shot
And
the
it
fifth
comes
leg.
up trumps.
Scott Williams.
So a 20 dart leg, and it will be a big sigh of relief for the big lad from Boston. And Paul Hogan knew in the background,
Sixth leg, it's Paul to throw
because he's
first.
seen enough of Scott Williams in the past to know that when he leaves double 6, more often than not, the leg will be taken.
122.
5 legs on throw. 50% on doubles for Scott. But is this the charge
180.
on the Hogan throw? He's got a free hit. %20 on doubles for Hogan.
100.
He could have easily been 3-2 up himself. 2 maximums for Scott. None for Hogan. But it could be another.
140.
5 perfect darts. Twice this week we have seen 7 perfect darts. Diogo Portela was the first to get 7.
45.
And Mike Warburton got 7 perfect darts as well. My advice to these guys is, if you want to hit a 9 darter, do it in Champions Week, because there is a bonus on offer in Champions Week for a 9. But we would love to get one now and in Champions Week.
140.
But what Scott Williams wants right now are points.
Scott, you require 81.
12 and bull. Bull for the win.
40. Paul, you require 94.
Didn't like that shot, did he? He's not going to like this one if it hits. But it's not going to. So Williams
58.
to get 2 invaluable points
Scott,
here
you require 41.
to put things in his own hands for the last match of the night.
9.
That's now 3 missed
Paul,
darts
you require
for
36.
the 2 points that he needed. Is he going to have to do it all again in leg 7? Oh, he is as well. That's
Paul
a surgical
Hogan.
dart from Paul Hogan. Just for a second, Scott at the back of the room, including myself, we were holding our breath as if to say, yes, it's leg 7.
7th and final leg. It's Scott to throw first. Game on.
All is not lost If Williams does not win this
134.
leg, he could still progress. He will have a better leg difference, come what may,
140.
against Robert Owen in the last match. So he will just have to beat Robert Owen, even if he loses this leg.
100.
But just for his own confidence going into that match. He'd love to win this leg and feel like it's in his control still anyway.
140.
He could still be both Williams and Owen going through. It does depend on what
59.
Robbo does next against Shaun Griffiths. In the words of Chris Mason, our
100.
esteemed colleague who commentates here many a time, this table is about as tight as 2 coats of paint. And that maximum is the third of the
180.
contest
All you require 121.
for Scott Williams. Might be his last 3 darts. Bull for the match for Hoagie. And he's only gone and nicked it on a 1-2-1 on the bullseye. Look at the joy on his face. But if you were to communicate with Scott Williams right now, you would say to him, all is not lost, because if you win your last match, the likelihood is you are going to be through anyway. Hogan is through, and it looks like he's won the table because he's got 12 points in the bank. And he got the biggest finish of the lot in that game on the 1-2-1 on the bullseye. We'll see more from him on Saturday night. We'll see more of Shaun Griffiths and Gary Robson in the next game. We'll have a little look at our calculators to see what's going on with Robbo, but he'll be next after the break. What an exciting night it has been so far with the Online Darts Live League action in Group B. Thank you for joining us on Sporty Stuff TV this evening, and we are about to have the climax of this group. We know now that Gary Robson, if he wins this match, his fourth game of the night, he will be in the finals tomorrow night. He's taking on Shaun Griffiths right now. Robson in second position, 4 points behind the person who has won this group, Paul Hogan. And he did it in style with a 1-2-1 on the bullseye against Scott Williams just now. But we will have Owen and Williams in the last game of the group.
First leg,
after
it's Shaun
this.
to throw first. Game on.
It's a win and in situation for those two. But also a win and in situation for Gary Robson.
180.
Trust me when I say this, there's no pressure on Shaun Griffiths at all. He is the spoiler right here.
60.
Robson on 8 points by virtue of winning 3 matches tonight. 6 points from a possible 6 after a very mystifying Thursday
43.
night. Friday night has been very fruitful. But if he gets his 4th win of the night, we'll see him again tomorrow.
97.
He really has played well tonight as well. For me, it's been the best night of action for Gary here at the Live League in all the times he has visited us. Been brilliant. 4-0 win against Paul Hogan with 111 checkout in there. King of the Hockey performance. And then another King of the Hockey performance against Scott Williams in winning by 4 legs to 2. But then the 4-1 win against Robert Owen, his best individual performance he's ever had here.
100.
You sense there's more to give. But these players want their scenarios to be as simple as possible.
47.
Robson knows
Shaun, you
that
require
if he wins,
85.
he's in. If he loses, he's going to need a favour from somebody in the next match.
75.
Oof, I tell you what, that was close to double 12.
Gary, you require
If
157.
he'd have hit that, it would have bust the lot. He's rather lucky to be coming back for double 5.
99. Shaun, you require 10.
If you miss high.
Game shot on the first
Or just
leg.
don't miss.
Shaun Griffiths.
16 darter for Shaun Griffiths starts things off. It's not really about leg difference this match. It's about the overall result. So 1-0 to Shaun. Over to you, Gary.
Second leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
Much like pretty much every dart player within the sport, whether they're amateur, professional, lady
99.
player, male player, young, old, somewhere in between. And here is the greatest example of it. The great John Part, the 3-time world champion, says everybody's name better than anybody else. When he says Gary's name, it's just said better in his Canadian accent. Gary Robson.
177.
So much better. We've got this new kid on the block in the PDC at the minute called Josh Rock.
60.
We've already said that John would say that better than anybody else as well. Josh Rock. Actually,
85.
have we just thought of a nickname for Josh Rock, the new kid on the block? There's a bit of poetry about that. Anyway, we digress. Robbo with a better leg here scoring-wise, leaving 140 after 9.
100. Gary, you require 140.
He looks really focused tonight.
60.
I've seen Gary in pressure situations. I remember like it was yesterday, 20 and a half years ago, when he was involved in a national playoff World Masters qualifier
125.
against a guy called Graham McFarlane from
Gary, you
Buckinghamshire.
require 80.
It was a horrible game to watch. Super pressure, and he came through it. Double top.
40.
He'll be back. And he said to me back then, it's a lot harder to watch than to play because you've got no control. Oh, how right he was. And is.
57. Gary, you require 40.
Double 10.
Game shot on the
Very
second
crisp.
leg.
17
Robson.
darter, but he doesn't have the darts in this contest. So he does have to break Shaun at some point. No time like the present.
Third leg, it's Shaun to throw first.
But Shaun knows he's going home to Partington tomorrow. He wants to leave with another couple of points to add to his total. The only victory he has was against Robert Owen by 4 legs to 3 yesterday. The rest of the time he has been defeated.
98.
I'm sure it's not the last time we'll see Shaun in 2022. He will be back, I'm sure. I'll be fascinated to see where he's at
95.
12 months from now. I think he would probably say the same.
100.
He has his own destiny in his hands. If he puts in the work and he has the ability, he can get back to a level that we all know he can play at.
100.
His game is about rhythm, belief, the grey matter between the ears, and execution when you need it. And that is what Robbo needed. Stunning. Sublime. Stupendous. Perfect.
$60.
And he has a look at it.
Gary,
with
you
Shaun on the
require
slightly
132.
easier out. Oh, there's another 19.
58.
If Shaun finds a
Shaun,
1-2-1 in the same fashion
121.
that Paul Hogan just has in the previous match, Robson will be needing a very good fourth leg.
52.
He has the chance.
Gary, you
He
require
got 74 and 2 darts the last time he had it. From the angle.
42.
Oh, he thought that was in.
Shaun, you require
I think
69.
Shaun did too. Looking at the 45 here. Bull to steal the leg away.
Game shot on the third
And that bullseye
leg.
is getting
Shaun
plenty of
Griffiths.
attention tonight. We've seen a couple of belter bullseye checkouts from Robson and from Hogan, but that one is one of the most hurtful against Robson tonight.
Fourth leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
It was a very good game that they had yesterday in game 2. Robson averaging just under 91.
46.
He had 4 maximums in that game. Shaun had 2, with his average over 92. High quality stuff, and Robson
60.
only just got over the line. What he would give to just get over the line again.
$100.
The closer this match is, the better it is for Gary. Because his leg difference at +2 is 1 better than Robert Owen.
58.
It is conceivable that Robbo could get through even if he loses this match.
100.
But it's very dependent on what happens in match 10. So we're not going to think about that too much, because we don't know what the result of this is before we go to match 10.
7.
Well, in darting circles, that's what's called music to the opponent's ears. But when somebody scores 7,
99.
you have to pounce on it. Good recovery.
96. Gary, you require 156.
Just lay up to double eight with a 140. That's what you'd take.
60.
Look at that. Great grouping. But if Griff can find a 180 here, he'd be very much back in the leg.
100.
Still 6
Gary,
darts
require
to clear
96.
leg 4. There is tension in this building. Pilgrim, Warburton,
56.
Adams in the finals already. Hogan is there. 2 more spots available.
100.
3 players going for it.
Gary, you require 40.
Robson for tops. Tens.
Game shot
In.
on the 4th leg. Gary
He's
Robson.
like a lizard at the minute, poking that tongue out, but he is just chomping at the bit. He's really enjoying the competition tonight. He has not tasted defeat yet.
5th leg, it's Shaun to throw first. $46.
Has struggled at points this week, Gary, with his
140.
full extension of the follow through, but tonight it has been as smooth as we've seen all week.
97.
Is this the time where we really can pounce on the mistakes of Griffiths?
85.
85 is all right. One more error, which might not come. It would have given Gary the darts.
100.
He's pretty much got them anyway. Just a small deficit between himself and the Mancunian. This works.
140.
He's first to a finish in leg 5. Only 180 of the match has come from Griff. I don't even know if anybody calls him Griff. I will, though.
100. Gary, you require 136.
Great scoring performance. And it might be a 12-darter. I would stay away from that one. And he does
96.
very wisely.
Shaun, you require
But this is a big move.
158.
Averaging 89 in this game. Robson is on tops and will get a very decent look at it.
40. Gary, you require 40.
This could be to qualify. Still tops.
20.
He's not going to have leg 5 taken away
Shaun,
from him,
you
is he?
require 180.
I wouldn't put this past Shaun. Treble needed. Treble not found.
58.
So it's
Gary,
down to
you
10s for the
require
break.
20.
Double 4. It's
Game
there,
shot on the 5th
and that
leg.
might
Gary
be enough to get him
Robson.
through, but we will wait and see. But if he does win one more leg from the next possible 2 legs, he will be through.
6th leg, it's Gary to throw first. Game on.
I said at the top of the show that if Gary Robson had any chance of coming through tonight, he had to win all 4 games. To his credit,
59.
he's almost done it. In this company, to have to win 4 games in a row just goes to show that the 54-year-old from Newcastle has still got something to offer this game. He might not be at Lakeside for the WDF World Championship in April. He might not be in the seniors event
140.
yet. But he's still got something to offer the game, and the Live League is proving that there are plenty of players out there who have still got something to offer the
85.
game. to put it beyond doubt. He's just got to keep doing this.
174.
And that's a great switch. The single 18 left the 164, but the treble gives him so much breathing room. It will ensure that the next game is a shootout between Owen and Williams to join Hogan and Robson. Another. Maybe it was a blessing, that, actually.
112.
Because he's left himself a larger double. He won the daily table in Group A on Wednesday with 8 points from 10. This is for 8 points from 8.
Gary requires 16.
For a perfect Friday night. And he's going to the finals on Saturday night. He did his job, and now it's over to the other two to see who gets the third spot. It was a really good, steady performance, but the biggest leg of the match for him was unquestionably leg number 5, where he got his break of throw. It's the only one he needed, and he is going to be coming back in about 20 hours' time. So we'll see Gary Robson with Paul Hogan from Group B on Saturday night from 10. So it's a shootout in the last game of the night between Scott Williams and Robert Owen. It's a rematch of Challenge to a Final number 1 in the PDC. You couldn't ask for more from Sporty Stuff TV. This is going to be brilliant. Don't miss it. It's after the break. Welcome back to the Online Darts Live League, and we did say that it may come down to the very last match of qualification for the finals in Group B. That is the case. It is a shootout between Scott Williams and Robert Owen. Best of 7 legs, whoever wins it is through. Even with Williams in 4th position, he still has a chance to jump his opponent because he has a superior leg difference. So whoever wins it, that's enough. It's not about the margin of victory, but there's a backstory to this one.
First leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
They know the crack. They know what needs to be done. And Robert Owen was the first person in the building tonight, getting ready for tonight. And he knows exactly what he wants to do.
140.
He had revenge on his mind a couple of days ago when it came to Scott Williams. And I know exactly what he was talking about.
140.
Because back on the 21st of January, they met in the first Challenge Tour final of the year.
60.
En route to that final, Scott beat the likes of Jim Mostyn, Mark McGeaney, Connor Heenan, Daryl Pilgrim,
23.
who's in tomorrow's finals, Darren Johnson, Dan Lowby Jr., who we saw a lot of at the end of last year. And then in the final, he beat this guy.
100.
And he beat him by 5 legs to 2 in the final with some very fine stuff. That may still be on the mind of Robert Owen.
86.
Owen's route, he took out a couple of people that we know a fair bit about. The likes of Darren Penhall, Aaron Beanie,
140.
Gary Eastwood, Matthew Edgar, and Jim McEwen in the semi-finals. And we know plenty about Jim.
58. Robert, you require 61.
Is it going to be first blood to Wales?
52.
It isn't, but all is not lost. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage of this tonight. As a 162 is banked. What an approach to double 16 that was. Double 4.
Game shot on the first
Really good
leg.
take
Robert Owen.
from Robert Owen on his own throw. He's got to protect the fact that he has got the darts in this match. If he can hold 4 times, that will be sufficient.
Second leg, it's Scott to throw first.
Before this began in Group B yesterday at 10 p.m,
82.
Scott Williams was the favourite to win this group because of the fact he's in such good form.
180.
Robert Owen is starting this match like a man who will not be denied.
58. 60.
Even when he's missing the 60, he's not missing it by much, that's for sure.
123.
Scott Williams, who has been Maverick style at times over the last couple of nights, is in full focus mode now. When you consider some of the company he's been keeping over the last couple of weeks, playing as an alternate in Players' Championship events, and some of the wins he's been banking as well,
128.
he will fully believe that he can get himself out of this jam. It's not going to be a third 161, is it, of the week?
97.
If he'd have hit it, it would have been huge.
Scott, you require 110.
18. Double 16 for 1-1.
78.
That one felt just a little quick, even for him.
Robert, you require 64.
That's a single 8. The 16's tricky, but it's a really good single. Tops for 2-0.
24.
Is this group going to go down to one
32.
leg at the end?
$16.
Oh boy, I didn't expect that.
Robert, you require 40.
I don't think Robert Owen expected another shot at tops.
Game
But it's
shot
a
on
shot
the
he
second
takes.
leg. Robert
And he's the one who has the impetus in this one. He has a break of throw in the bank now. And Scott Williams is very much up against the opportunity of making the finals on Saturday.
Third leg, it's Robert to throw first. Game on.
Let's talk about Scott Williams' season playing Players' Championship events in the PDC. You think about some of the players he's played over the last couple of weekends.
45.
He's beaten these guys. Steve Beaton, Ross Montgomery, Andy Bolton, Boris Koltsov, Scott Waits, Mensur Suljevic,
81.
and Mike Hogan. He's beaten them all. The people who have beaten him: Peter Wright, the world champion; John O'Shea,
54.
still the world master; Connor Scott, who we know a lot about from Live League days last year. And then he had a
60.
really good tussle in Wigan last Sunday with Jason Heaver of Berkshire, and ultimately lost that one by 6 legs to 4. But he's playing at a better level on the Pro Tour than he is at the Challenge Tour. He's averaging a good 4 points more. So the better the opponent,
100.
the better he plays. So with that in mind, he should get a move on here, because Owen's averaging over 90. Scott is not.
58.
That's an aggressive 140. That was, I will not be denied, this 140. Could he get a shot at the bull this time?
96.
No. He's finding himself in very gettable positions. 3 bits of lipstick.
110.
Doubles have cost him. That's 5 misses in the match.
Robert, you require
They both
68.
had 5 shots at a double. Robert's taken 2. That's the difference. He's going to get a 6th dart for a 3-0 lead.
Game shot
And that's exactly what he has.
Robert Owen.
Hugely in control. And when you think about the fact that Robert Owen has 8 points in the bank already, Scott only has 6. Maybe he was the favourite coming into this match.
Fourth leg,
but now, Williams at the point of no return, needing 4 straight legs. Otherwise, it's back to Boston.
180.
Is it shackles off time? 51 darts was enough for the first 3 legs. Many times before, that is not enough to take care of Scott Williams in 3 legs. But right now,
140.
looked at 5 perfect darts. I said it might come down to 1 leg. Right now, Robert Owen's thinking, please no. Not after being 3-0 up.
123.
This is a huge assault that hopefully Scott will be thinking will continue for multiple legs from here.
100. Scott, you require 58.
This is on his throw.
Game shot.
And he has won it in 12 darts.
Scott Williams.
So that's 1 down, and it is 3 to go. But Robert Owen won't be too worried about that. That was on the Williams throw, so now it's up to him to serve it out.
5th leg, it's Robert to throw first.
And he will have 2 attempts at that. Your finals. Martin Adams,
140.
Robson, Hogan, all England greats. Then you got Pilgrim and Warburton. So it's 4
96.
English players and 1 Welshman. Will it be another Englishman or another Welshman?
44.
Not a very good backup shot to the 140 start. But
96.
he somewhat maintains his advantage of throw. Only 8 points between them.
100.
That's solid. He's 3 trebles away from a double.
59.
And for me, that has been the thing that's gone wrong for Scott Williams over the course of the last 3 games. His darts have been going low.
100.
Big ton. Really good professional stuff from Robert Owen in this leg. He's been finding trebles when he needs them.
140.
So this is his first
Robert,
chance to win the match.
117.
1 treble, 1 single, and a double, and he's through. There's the treble.
97.
First match dart missed, and Williams
Scott, you require
needs
110.
this, or he's gone. Double 15.
80.
He's had his chances.
Robert, you require 20.
8 shots at a double and only 1 hit. But Owen, to qualify, needs double 5.
Game,
And he has
shot,
qualified.
and the match.
He has
Robert
got
Owen.
his revenge for that loss in Challenge Tour 1. And he completes the field for the finals on Saturday night with a commanding performance. Yes, the average was only 85 and change, but he got the hot start that Williams did not. The averages are skewed by that 12 darter that was hit by Scott Williams in the 4th leg. But ultimately, the favourite for the group is out with Shaun Griffiths. They're at the bottom. So Owen, Robson and Hogan go forth to the finals. And we can now look forward to that through all of Saturday. So I hope you all have a very healthy and happy Saturday. And if you have got the storms here in the UK, just stay inside and keep yourself safe. Enjoy whatever you do on Saturday. Come back to us at 10 p.m. on Sporty Stuff TV for the finals on Saturday night, where there's £2,000 up for grabs. All of the players will get a little bonus for getting there, but it's the £2,000 they want. I will be here from 10 p.m. on Sporty Stuff TV. I hope you can join me. This is the Assets signing out for now. Take care. See you on Saturday night.